Hi, my name is David Adelson. Today we're going to talk about the value of silence. And the reason it came up was I created a whole bunch of silent CDs and DVDs, and I was talking to someone who'd been involved in New Age healing for quite some time, and when he described it later, he said, when I mentioned silent DVDs, he kind of smirked inside. And I thought, well, why would somebody involved in New Age things or any type of healing find silence smirkable? And he tried the CDs and the DVDs, and actually he was extremely impressed with the benefits that they brought him. But I want to point out that in our society, we already value silence. And a perfect example is, the strong silent type, the hero. Clint Eastwood became famous as a strong silent hero, not a strong chatty hero, not a strong funny hero. I mean, there are those too, but the idea of a strong silent character is already built in our society for that. Tree roots, when they grow in silence. When water freezes and expands to crack the concrete, to create the potholes, it does it in silence. In a sales situation, when someone is doing a closing, that is trying to close the sale to make the person, agree to say yes, one of the most powerful techniques that they use is silence, where someone asks a closing question, basically, you want to get this, right? And then they just shut up. They don't say anything after that. The basic premise is that once a closing question is asked, whoever breaks the silence, whoever speaks first, loses. That means if the salesman speaks first, he doesn't get the sale. If the prospect speaks first, he just bought it. So silence is already valued. Now, saints have their power in silence. That everything they do comes from the silent power within. A silent mind, even in our own experience, is able to focus more. It's more powerful than a mind with lots of mental noise going on. If we have a noisy mind, all this chatter, this way, that way, thinking about this and that, thinking all these irrelevant points, should I ask her what if she says, no, I had broccoli at lunch today, my leg itches, all of this stuff. It's very distracting from accomplishing whatever we're trying to accomplish. That's why those who work with loud equipment, they have earmuffs because of the silence. They want to be able to think clearly and focus on their work and not be distracted by the rat-a-tat-tat of whatever type of equipment is going on. They value silence. If we didn't value silence, we would never hear the phrase, shut up, because that's somebody who wants silence. People sleep in silence. Everybody prefers to meditate and to pray in silence. Churches are quiet. We don't yell in church. Chapels in hospitals and airports have that quiet energy about it. This is something that we value because we value silence. When we're sick, the doctor tells us to rest, which means physically silent. And why does he tell us? Because the body heals faster when we're restful, when that physical silence is there. We value silence for a reason. It's where our power comes from. Other examples of silent power: sunlight warms us up, tans the skin, causes all the plants to grow on the planet. Completely silent. Electricity is silent. If we're hearing a hum from the light or something, usually that means something's wrong, but the electricity itself is completely silent. Now, we want to get into this idea of what is the source of silence. We want to talk a little bit about we use a diagram of a bubble rising from the base of the ocean, which we're putting in here. And what we want to show you is that according to physics, all of the laws of nature reside in what is called a unified field of all the laws of nature. What physics has been trying to do since Einstein, and probably before that, is unify all the different aspects, all the different expressed components of the universe and say, where did it all come from? Okay? And in that process, all of those qualities which make things different from each other, which differentiate each other, all have different levels of activity. to get to the source where they're all harmonious, nothing can yet have been expressed, which means that there is no differentiation, which means that it must be completely still, completely silent, like the base of the ocean. In this analogy, the surface of the ocean is that surface level of life. We see the different waves, the different types of activity on the surface, hearing, tasting, touching. We move around in activity. And then we show the representation of getting to subtler levels with this bubble. But then we see that silent line underneath it. And that silent line is where everything comes from. In physics, that surface activity is, and as it gets closer and closer, all the different laws of nature getting more unified, more unified, more unified, until we hit that silent source of it, which is silent completely within itself, unexpressed and unmoving. It's a completely unexpressed state from which everything emerges. All of the various components, including sound, emerge from this. Now, it is said that when creation is first sprouting, that those spiritual beings who have access to that, what they hear when they go to that level is a hum, cosmic hum. This is where that sound Om comes from. Om. Some people like to meditate on this sound, this Om sound, this hum. But Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, the founder of Transcendental Meditation program, felt that this was not a good goal to have, that he said if we refer to it as a hum rather than this other sound, he said then it doesn't become a goal. And his concern was this, that if we are trying to get to source, which we could call the unified field, Satchidananda, Lord Christ called it the kingdom of heaven within, pure consciousness, whatever we want to call it, we want to get to the actual source itself. The actual source itself, as we just described in physics, is unexpressed. Unexpressed means silent. So if we're going to the hum, it's the first sprouting of activity. It's a very good deep level, but it is activity itself. It is not the source. We want to get to the actual source. So what we want to do is get to the silence beneath even the subtlest activity, even that subtlest hum. We want to get to the silence beneath that because everything arises from the silence. Everything comes from there and eventually returns to there. In fact, the hum has been described as both the first sound of creation coming, and it also has been described as the sound of creation unmanifesting. That's the collapse of all of the universes just collapsing into this homogeneous hum before it finally settles down into complete and utter silence. Point is this, what we've described is that saints get their power from silence. We value silence. The very term shut up and the fact that it's common throughout the world in one form or another tells us we value silence. And all of our products, especially the CDs, the DVDs, the smooth transition systems, bring the power of silence from that unified field, pure consciousness, heaven within level, through the first sproutings into creation so that it can affect every part of the physiology or every part of your own consciousness and awareness and life experience in the direction of the particular DVD or CD, whether it be for happiness, for love, for prosperity, for purpose, for wisdom, for a divine connection, for divine grace, for being a champion of the divine. So many different options that we've created. We have 22 different silent programs that can activate and accentuate the different areas of your life, and they do it with power. Not some smirk about, oh, silence, but rather this is the recognized source of power in every major tradition in the world, including most recently science with the advent of unified field-based physics. We wish you silence in your life when you need it. Please take advantage of all of our programs, the silent art, the silent photography, the silent CDs, the silent DVDs, all of the silent programs that we've created, the very powerful smooth transition systems, all of which can have a very profound and dramatic and immediate effect in your life. So please check him out at davidadelson.com, or if that's hard to spell, giftsfromdevotion.com, same place. And have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.